I've completely equipped myself with everything required for the Jay-Z documentary. The instant that legal notice came from him, it became clear to me that the public needed to see his true nature. He and Diddy are fundamentally the same type of people. The only difference is that Jay-Z conceals his ego and dominance behind a more polished, respectable-looking public persona. Our conflict has been going on for 2 decades. No one understands his behind-the-scenes actions better than I do. I even believe that the so-called funeral flower arrangement was not Diddy's decision at all, but rather Jay-Z acting for him. When Nicki Minaj once shared that clip showing him wearing a pink wig, I merely reposted it. That alone was enough to make him panic, and he immediately sent his attorneys after me with threats. Back in 2015, Nicki put in relentless effort to help him expand and strengthen his platform, yet he allegedly kept $7.9 million of her royalty earnings for himself. Beyond that, his involvement appears repeatedly across major moments over the years, from the infamous elevator video to the carefully selected guest lists at Diddy's parties. His presence is obvious in these situations, yet somehow he always manages to escape consequences without a scratch. That is his true skill, manipulating events from behind the curtain while maintaining the illusion of being clean and untouchable in the public eye. Now that part of the darkness has finally been exposed, I have no intention of stopping. What my team and I are doing is not about launching attacks against individuals. It is about ensuring that the truth cannot be silenced, hidden, or erased with a single phone call.
He ain't answering the phone? He ain't answering the motherfucking phone.
Right.
We had a black billionaire's lunch.
Black excellence, they're sitting there like, yeah. It's the billionaire brunch.
Oh,
Like,
I hate you, man.
And we here together, and we gonna keep staying together. We getting tighter.
unaware of anything going on here. This is the one time I'm going to be with you this year. Yo, I feel like I'm normal again. Get me out of here.
Jay-Z is no longer operating with a sense of ease or composure. Instead, his actions now appear measured and cautious, especially after 50 Cent allegedly revealed details about what Jay-Z's private exchanges with Diddy were truly like, a situation that represents a worst-case scenario for him for a long time now. Jay-Z's name has
on Carter, aided and abetted, or was directly involved. It's about to get real tense, and there's a lot of girls and boys who are still trapped inside the...
For a long time now, Jay-Z's name has stayed uncomfortably close to the chaos surrounding Diddy, constantly linked through whispers, suspicious looks, ongoing rumors, and quietly handled civil accusations. Now, all of that hidden dirt that stayed buried for years is finally being exposed to the light. One thing 50 Cent has been outspoken about for a very long time is this. He never wanted to be part of Diddy's inner circle. He openly stated that certain invitations immediately felt off to him, like situations that didn't align with his instincts or sit right with his spirit, which is why he chose to keep his distance. That decision is exactly why he is speaking so openly now, without any hesitation at all.
Explained that Jay-Z is worse than Diddy. She explained how Jay-Z has done worse things than what Diddy did to Cassie to other females. And she said that she has the scars to prove it. She alleged that at one time Jay-Z attacked her and got it on film like Diddy did. And she alleged that this is why Jay-Z is totally pulling away from Diddy and you don't see him around. And it's been alleged for quite a while that Jay-Z is pulling away from Diddy because he doesn't want himself caught in the crossfire. I mean, you even have 50 Cent at this point talking about how Jay-Z is in hiding while this whole Diddy thing blows over. And you even have these accusations of Jay-Z being responsible for what happened to Cassie White. So I'm going to go ahead and roll you guys this clip of everything that Jag had to say about Jay-Z being worse than Diddy. And you guys let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
When the allegations eventually made it into the headlines, 50 Cent explained that he discovered them in the same way as the general public, through the news. None of it, however, came as a surprise to him in the slightest. As the pressure intensified, the public gaze gradually shifted toward Jay-Z, and questions began to surface that he could not evade indefinitely. Why remain silent while the situation was exploding all around him? That silence did not appear to be a calculated strategy. It came across as purely defensive.
Sean Carter is just as bad as the diddler. And I know that for a fact. I got The scars to prove it. You want to know what a box cutter feels like going into your skin and ripping you? I can tell you how it feels. Y'all ain't seen shit yet. That Cassie shit, that's nothing. I'm saying Sean Carter remembers everything he did to me and he's got it on tape. Just like Diddy. And they're gonna be crazy. It's gonna be the women that get them in the end.
Certain insiders think that Jay-Z's team was already aware that his name had come up in civil disputes and concluded that the smartest approach was to remain still and let time pass. But here's the issue. A person's reputation can suffer serious harm even without formal charges being filed.
What Jay-Z's accuser is saying, that even though she dropped the lawsuit, she still stands by what she says, and she only dropped it because of harassment and the fact that she's terrified of Jay-Z. She says that Jay-Z is allegedly bullying her into saying that her accusations were false. In fact, in new legal documents, she is claiming that she was recently approached outside of her home and cornered by two people who told her they were investigators working for one of Jay-Z's lawyers. She claims they tried to get her to sign an affidavit stating that her claims against Jay-Z were false, but she refused. Jane Doe also claims the alleged investigators asked her if her attorney, Tony Busby, sought her out as a client and offered her money to pursue false claims against Jay-Z, two allegations she says she denied. He says this alleged confrontation left her intimidated and terrified, wondering how they found her when her identity had remained anonymous in media reports and legal proceedings. He also claims that her parents were approached by two investigators asking similar questions about Busby and her story. In the new documents, she reveals she decided to drop the claim because she was frightened by the reaction from Jay-Z and his supporters. He says she feared she would be publicly outed and subjected.
Social media exploded with conversations about voices being silenced and stories deliberately buried. Industry insiders caution that once investigations begin to circle, merely being nearby can destroy reputations. Anyone standing too close when the ground gives way risks going down with it. This is precisely why so many argue that 50 Cent's documentary carries real significance. It's not solely about a single individual's fall from grace. It exposes how power truly operated behind closed doors, revealing who was aware of what, who chose to remain silent, and who could be pulled in next. The problem is clear. A reputation can suffer irreparable harm even without formal charges.
Well, did he start snitching?
He better. But the only thing I'm interested in him talking about is everything he knows about Kathy Coriana White. See, I know you know what happened to Corey. Did he? I know that. You and Jay-Z. Down in Vegas at Tao with Claudia. Why don't you just talk about Kathy? That might help. That might help a lot. Kathy Coriana White, Jay-Z's pregnant mistress, who died 24 hours after she announced that she was going public with their relationship and the baby while he was married to Beyonce.
Now,
Was
Jack,
it an aneurysm, did he? Or are you the one who paid the same coroner that you... Oh, Diddy, you should...
Commentators began posing the real question: how did Diddy manage to remain untouchable for decades? The typical answer pointed to his influence, his powerful network of connections, and his tight grip on information, all while whispers and rumors continued to circulate. As the pressure steadily mounted, reports started emerging suggesting that Diddy might be cooperating with authorities in order to mitigate his own situation. That's when the situation turned ugly very quickly. One alleged detail left people completely stunned. The main notion that Jay-Z's name could surface in any kind of arrangement or deal, whether it was true or not, sent immediate shockwaves through the industry, simply because no one ever expected Jay to be part of that conversation at all.
Diddy and Jay-Z. They was close enough that they wasn't playing basketball, they wasn't playing baseball, they wasn't playing football, and they wasn't playing hockey or soccer for Diddy to come on stage, pat him on his ass, and then make the statement to people in the world that can't nobody call me Sean but Jay-Z. Now, I don't know what kind of statement, and I can't say, I wish I could say half a homo, but I know I can't say it. But I don't know what kind of half a homo that is. And you trying to say that you're not close to somebody. You coming on stage, patting them on their ass, and then you making a broad statement to the public, can't nobody call me Sean but Sean Carter. And I heard Jay-Z said the same thing about them. But they were so close that they had matching white girls together. Because when they used to see each other, they used to say, yo, how your skinny white girl doing? He'd be like, yo, how your skinny white girl doing? So I guess that's a certain type of closeness.
I ain't know anything about that, man. I ain't know about, Jay touching his, ass. I got to go see the video. I ain't hear about that.
Come on, man. Everybody's seen that. 50 even pointed it out. Excuse me. When they was in ATL on stage. Remember when 50 bum rushed the stage with them?
Yeah, I think I recall that.
When Puff came on stage, first thing he did was pat Jay-Z on that. But I forgot. That's your favorite rapper.
Hey, him and Pocket's 1A, 1B. But what's your issue with Jay, man? I didn't know you had an issue with him.
I'm never a fan of somebody that I was going
The documentary now officially released, one fact stands out clearly. This is no longer just about the past. The focus has shifted entirely to what happens next. Every new piece of information casts a sharper, more revealing light on those who remain silent, and Jay-Z repeatedly finds himself front and center in that exposure. The intensity of that spotlight is amplified because his history with Diddy stretches back decades, regardless of how much anyone attempts to minimize or downplay it.
Kids, these guys are, man. They'll cause situations and cause problems, and then they'll forget what they done because they on a whole nother atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? A lot of shit that he did, you got to understand, like now he'll say that they're kids because he's raising kids of his own. You understand? But how would you like it that if Blue Ivory, 15, 16 years old, 17, 18 years old, dating in his early 30s? You're not going to go for that. No matter what she came through in Hollywood. But you got to understand, guys who was around there, we didn't know Jay-Z them ages. We didn't know these cats' age. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't having no beards and nothing like that. They was wearing low cuts. You understand? Clean face. I would have never believed when Jay was coming around the block, scooping up the young girls and stuff like that he was 30 years old. If they 17, 18, 16 years old and they 22, you thinking they 22, 23, something like that, 24 years old? They mom and them need to check them. They daddy and them need to check them. But that's not that far off. But for somebody to be 30 years old in their 30s and they dealing with kids 16 years old, 17, 18 years, now that's a problem. That's an issue. And now he see that because he's raising kids. And he got a young daughter. I think he got another daughter that he didn't claim and now he claiming them. These cats was doing a whole lot of stuff that people in the industry won't speak on. And then now that you're speaking on it and it's becoming where is that you can get on YouTube and you could talk about this shit and say what you seen or say what you heard, you understand, or what you know. Some people look at it being a problem. But these cats ain't street cats. They entertain them.
Deal. in particular, didn't hold anything back. When Jay-Z's lawyer asserted that Jay and Diddy were never truly close, Jean outright dismissed that version of events. From her perspective, that account simply did not match reality at all. To Jean, the level of familiarity between them spoke volumes without needing further explanation. She emphasized that this wasn't just casual overlap within the industry. This was genuine comfort and ease. At a show in Atlanta, when Diddy stepped onto the stage with Jay-Z, their interaction appeared far too natural, far too familiar, like two people who shared history and didn't feel the need to justify or explain it to anyone.
Odd to see him in that, getting looked at in that way by white people, like Jay does, yeah. Like I hope that shit didn't happen, but I'm like, damn, they turned the world real. Like people on a certain level have been fucking with him a certain way where he couldn't do no wrong for like 25 years straight. This is the first time he's not getting a pass with white media. Like he can control black media because a lot of them either work or do business with him. But like, Drink Champs can't get him out of this one, and neither can Charlemagne, because those are the guys that hold him down no matter what he does anyway. So he got to get to People Magazine and Entertainment Tonight right now, because they on his head. But the question is why? Like why now? Because for me, I'd be like, yo, that's so ridiculous. Yo, take that to trial. You're not going to win. Let's get a deposition or something. So I don't know why they on his head so much. Pause. But I never seen him, under this, I never seen him in this position to have to explain himself. Pause.
How you feel about the statement he came out with?
I mean, I didn't hear him say anything. I heard a piece of, like I said, for me, I'm doing an interview, so I talk. I thought it was long. For a statement, I thought it was long, pause. But, I think right now, his silence is the worst thing for him if he is innocent. He needs to let people ask him questions, and he needs to be able to say his side of the story, as opposed to...
The clip did not fade away quietly either. 50 Cent later addressed it publicly, and once he did, the footage began circulating relentlessly, never letting up. When Gene was asked whether he harbored a personal grudge against Jay-Z, he dismissed the notion immediately. He explained that it was never about being a fan or a hater. Instead, he recounted an old incident when tensions had been high, an event that Jay-Z apparently didn't even remember later. Gene noted that this is exactly how those at the top operate. They move through situations, leaving destruction or consequences in their wake, and then forget it ever happened, simply because they exist in a completely different world from everyone else.
I don't think I would have said that he didn't know Puff at all or wasn't his friend. I thought that was a little extreme. I thought that was the wrong choice of words. I think that's going to trigger a lot of backlash. But the thing is, I never seen him get backlash at all. So that's what I'm saying. Now he getting backlash. Like, when do you know Jay-Z to be on his heels other than when he got beat up in the elevator? But that was nothing. But I've never seen him under the fire ever. Not in a long time. Not like, I've never seen people on his head like that, Paul. Ever.
Yeah, this might be my first time seeing people come at him like this.
Like I said, I didn't hear him say anything. Like, I'm not some white man speaking for another black man doesn't add up. It just doesn't work like that. Like, he doesn't know what to say on Jay's behalf. Jay would have to say that. So if he instructed him to say that, like, you don't even know if Jay told him to say that. He could have got off the stage and they was like, why'd you say that? He was like, I had to. Like, he probably said it because homeboy wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? So who knows? Like, I didn't hear him say anything. I haven't heard Jay say a word yet. Have you?
Nah, I haven't heard him say anything.
There it is. So y'all going by a piece of paper with words. Don't get caught up in that. I have not heard him say one thing yet. Until I see him speak, he hasn't spoke to me. That's why I said I don't think he did not say that. His lawyer said it. So what else is a lawyer going to say?
And Dame Dash entered the conversation, and his remarks amplified everything even further. Jay-Z's former right-hand man addressed a serious accusation circulating and revealed that what surprised him most wasn't solely the claims themselves, but the response they triggered. Dame explained that he had never witnessed Jay-Z endure this level of public scrutiny before. For decades, Jay had appeared untouchable, particularly in mainstream media. Yet this time, that protective shield was failing. Dame also criticized the attempt to completely distance Jay-Z from Diddy. He described the assertion that they were never close as both extreme and careless, cautioning that such language only provokes backlash. What struck Dame most profoundly was his simple truth. This is the first instance he could recall where Jay-Z was forced into a defensive position rather than maintaining control over the narrative.
Says to people, he goes into boardrooms and says to people, which I will never say, is he says, it's important for me to be a billionaire, because black people need to be billionaires. And why does specifically at that time, I've had this conversation with white money people when they go, it's important that Jay-Z becomes a billionaire. And I go, why? And they said, because he wants to open up a casino. He wants to open up this. He should have an alcoholic brand. He needs to have a casino. He needs to have this. And you're like, why the fuck does anybody need a casino? Like another fucking casino
prints money
in this
all
world.
day, and it makes it very possible for people to launder money all day.
Yeah. So like, why, even the fact that you want to become so powerful, then you're not saying because he needs to build schools for black people in black neighborhoods. It's because he wanted to build casinos for black people.
For them to keep wasting their money, and then for him to keep getting them overpriced merchandise. It's a rat trap.
Yeah.
All of it is. The sad part is that hip hop has now turned itself over to this greed machine and doesn't realize it's time to.
Majority of his career, Jay-Z has rarely been in a position where he had to justify or explain his actions. Dame made it unmistakably clear that era has ended. This time, the pressure isn't subsiding after just one or two headlines. It is relentless, coming at him from every possible angle. That's when the crucial question arises. Why does 50 Cent appear so focused on Jay-Z at this moment? The history with Diddy alone does not provide a complete explanation. According to Tony Yeo, the tension between 50 Cent and Jay-Z runs far deeper and stretches back many years. It is rooted in competition, in loyalty, and in the distinct ways each of them navigates the world of hip-hop.
Why does it all come to a head now? Why now? Why?
Because he's the acceptable monster at this time, like R. Kelly was the last time I sat on this couch.
So who's next?
Y'all don't see the lineup?
Yeah, we see the lineup. I'm just waiting to see who's next.
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up. Why is everyone having such a hard time? He ain't doing shit different. He lined up D. Haven, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and took his love. Lined up R. Kelly. He wants to be the one.
Yeah, shout out D. Haven. He actually hit us up, wanted to tell this story.
You need to talk to D. Haven.
Yeah, we need to talk to him.
I told you that last year when I put you on the phone with him.
Yeo explained that hip-hop culture has always been fiercely competitive. Egos collide, boundaries get crossed, and situations can escalate quickly. But he also highlighted that people can grow and move forward over time. He referenced a recent performance where 50 Cent shared the stage with Dr. Dre and Cameron appeared alongside them, something that would have been unthinkable years ago. That moment, Yeo said, demonstrated genuine growth, not a staged or fake sense of peace. Cameron later added a remark that resonated. Jay-Z prioritizes business over the culture. Yeo didn't dispute that assessment. He elaborated that Jay-Z brings his full weight to corporate-style events and boardroom dealings, but doesn't always show the same commitment to hip-hop moments that matter to artists like 50 Cent. According to Yayo, the real distinction between Jay-Z and 50 Cent comes down to approachability, and that gap has far more significance than most people acknowledge. Jay-Z operates on a sky-high level, yet he remains distant, guarded, and often unreachable. 50 Cent, in contrast, is equally influential but continues to show up for people. He stays connected, remembers faces, and maintains relationships, and Yayo emphasized that artists should never forget those who helped build them from the ground up. Then Yayo revealed a moment that left the strongest impression on him. He claimed that Jay-Z did not want 50 Cent anywhere near the Super Bowl halftime stage. Based on what Yayo heard, Eminem had to draw a firm line and insist to organizers that he would not perform unless 50 Cent was included. To Yayo, this did not feel like a business decision. It felt personal. What made it even worse were the insights executives later shared with Yayo behind closed doors. They told him that 50 Cent had done more for his own team than many industry giants had done for their artists, and that kind of loyalty doesn't fade easily. Meanwhile, the reportedly shaky relationship between Jay-Z and Diddy began to show cracks. People close to both camps said trust was eroding and quiet fears arose about who would protect themselves first if things ever went south. Jaguar Wright even claimed that Jay-Z played a behind-the-scenes role in Diddy's downfall. While this remains an allegation, it shook many people, adding a new dimension to how the situation was perceived. Then Roger Bonds, Diddy's former head of security, offered his perspective from the inside. Roger said he observed Jay-Z and Diddy interact over the years, but never believed they were genuinely close. In fact, he admitted that he once assumed they were tighter than they really were until time revealed the truth. Members of Diddy's team also noticed another detail. Diddy showed up for Jay-Z far more than Jay-Z ever showed up for Diddy. According to Roger, that imbalance was unmistakable and significant. From his viewpoint, their connection was not based on loyalty but rather on money, access, and influence. And when challenges arose, those connections proved insufficient to hold things together. The cracks didn't just appear, they expanded. Now the pressing question is whether these fractures are about to consume everyone involved. What do you think is really happening here? Share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with anyone who has been following this story. It makes a bigger difference than you realize.